Welcome back, campers, or just welcome, campers. I'm Chris.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this is Candy Adventures. And today we're going to be teaching Elizabeth here how to ride a 2005 KX100. Our channel is Candy Adventures, C for Chris, E for Elizabeth, Candy Adventures. And our adventures are not always just traveling somewhere. It's usually based around learning something new and trying to get better at something and kind of adventures through life. And I think there's no greater adventure than learning a new skill, and today will be her learning to ride a dirt bike and get into the wide world of motorcycle riding.
If you don't know, we're in Guam and we have my KX100 loaded up in the back of the truck, fueled up and ready to go. So currently we're on our way to one of the more popular off-roading spots called Leo Palace. To give background, I have virtually no riding experience. I took a motorcycle safety course approximately 3 years ago and didn't even pass it. I dropped the bike in the testing portion, and that's kind of an automatic fail. So there's pretty good hopes for today.
So this motorcycle is not the best to teach someone to ride on, I don't believe. It's a two-stroke motor with a power valve, and that means it has a pretty narrow power band of no horsepower to all the horsepower to no horsepower again, and a very short range of the throttle. And when you're first learning how to ride a clutch, this can mean you can have some accidental wheelies, some whoopsie wheelies as I like to call them. And whoopsie wheelies can be very off-putting to someone who's first learning how to ride a dirt bike. So hopefully we don't have any whoopsie wheelies today, and she can learn this kind of frustrating, can be frustratingly difficult power band on these power valve two-strokes. There's a little gap in between when we put up the dirt bike, how she got it for her birthday, and now, and that's because we've been waiting on some parts to come in the mail and a helmet. There are motorcycle dealerships on Guam, except this helmet was exactly 2.5 times the price as it was online. So we like to support local business, but we can't afford to pay 2.5 times the price for a helmet when we can get it ordered in. So we've been waiting for this helmet to come in.
And then I decided probably important to have boots just so that I can have the good ankle support and protect my shins. And they're still in the mail. So today I just have like my field boots that I use when I work outside. I'm a biologist, so that's all I've got. But it should work.
It'll be fine. I don't expect we'll be getting out of first or second gear today, so we should be fine. So it looks like we're about to our destination, and we're going to see if we can get out here and get Elizabeth on this motorcycle.
Well, there goes my birthday present. I didn't think when I got a dirt bike that I wouldn't be the one riding it. There's a lot of ruts in this area, and it doesn't get flat until you go in a little bit. Because I've never ridden, Chris has to ride it in, and I just have to walk. But that's okay. As you can see, Chris was not wearing a helmet or, well, any safety gear. He's been riding since he was 12. He got his first dirt bike when he was 12. And I'm not gonna out his age, but he's got years of experience. So he's pretty good to ride without safety gear, at least just to ride it in a little bit. And I'm doing my walk of shame. And you would think, well, Chris could just at least wear Elizabeth's helmet. Well, my head is an extra small, and Chris has a normal size head. So that's not an option either. Okay, I gotta listen for the braps. I think he went this way. I can imagine if you've been riding since you were 12 and you really like it, like it's a passion of yours, how he's really enjoying this right now because we haven't ridden since we left North Carolina, which was in 2019. So Chris has a GSXS 1000 sitting at home, and we haven't touched it since we moved to Guam. And I think he really misses riding, And so, I'm not surprised at all that he's taking advantage of the fact that I got a dirt bike for my birthday, because it's a little sense of freedom and a little sense of being able to ride even though we're not back stateside yet.
Okay. Maybe just this little area in first gear.
Okay.
Just stay on top of the hill, kind of.
Okay.
We'll just play in first gear.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a quick refresh of kind of how a motorcycle works for Elizabeth, and maybe if you've never ridden a motorcycle. Okay, so this side is your clutch side. This basically connects the engine's power, its rotational mass, and power to the rear wheel. If at any time you need to emergency stop or something's not going right, you pull this lever and the engine, no matter how high RPM or whatever's going crazy, you pull this in and it disconnects, it decouples the engine's rotational speed from the rear wheel's rotational speed.
So you're not gonna keep going.
Yeah, this will immediately cut power.
Yes.
At all times, especially when learning, cover the clutch up. So if anything goes wrong, you can just pull this in and it cuts power to the rear wheels.
Am I gonna get some like really sexy forearms from this?
Probably from the speeds that we're going today, no, there will be no forearm pump.
Okay.
Secondly, over here on this side is your custom designed brake lever and your throttle. So this is your front brake, and on dirt you'll kind of have to play with it, but you'll feel that some of this dirt, if it's loose, you'll wash the front end out if you use too much front brake.
Okay.
And it will cause the front end to lock up and kind of wash out to one side or the other, and that can cause a spill. So you just kind of be careful with the front brake.
Okay.
Below that is your rear brake lever, actuated by your foot. And you can pretty much lock that thing down in the dirt all the time. You just have to be mindful when you lock down this rear brake lever. If the engine is still spinning, you're basically locking up the engine as well, and it will kill the motor unless you pull the clutch in.
Okay.
So when you're using the rear brake, if you're going to completely stop the bike or slow it way down, you need to engage the clutch so that you are not locking up the engine itself with the rear brake, and you'll kill it.
Okay. This
is your kickstart. We are kind of lacking on the boots here, as you can see. Wish we had some better boots for kickstart, because sometimes it does fire when the kickstarter's down and it'll pop back up, but these little two strokes aren't too bad. Mostly important, throttle on this two strokes. When you're riding it, you will hear it change sound, and you will go from 0 horsepower to maybe in the mid-20s horsepower all of a sudden, and that's when the power valve opens on a two-stroke. And it'll go from feeling like a turd to feeling like a rocket ship. So be very mindful of the grip. We don't want any whoopsie wheelies today on this two-stroke.
So
here.
Instead of turtle to rabbit, it's turd to rocket ship?
It's turd to rocket ship or nothing to whoopsie wheelie.
Okay.
So let's just go ahead and get it started, and let's see if we can just kind of idle around and get used to it in first gear.
So the cool thing about this is some dirt bikes bigger than this, their seat height is really, really tall. And for a beginner, that's really intimidating. So I like that I can flat foot this, meaning that I have my foot fully planted on the ground, whereas some other taller dirt bikes, it's tiptoe or you can't even really touch. So this, I know it may not be the best starter bike because of the two-stroke factor, but the fact that I can flat foot it is definitely more comfortable for a beginner.
We got clutch in, we have it in neutral, so we got the Kickstarter out. Now we can go ahead and give it a kick.
So I just push down?
And just a little throttle. I give it a little throttle, like the same time I'm kicking, just a little.
That's close.
You gotta give it a little more throttle.
So do I take my foot off of it when it wants to kick back up?
Yeah, I take or at least my muscle tension. I'll kick down, and then my foot's already coming back up, so if it does kick back up, I'm coming with it.
See. Okay.
Okay, so pretty good first start on the bike. She likes to get it good warmed up with a wide open throttle pull. That wasn't part of the course, but you know, she's just trying to warm it up.
Sorry.
Why is it stuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what'd you do? Did you kill it? Oh my God, how did you break it already? Okay, so this started out good Candy Adventure style. We immediately broke the throttle tube on the dirt bike.
Rock bottoming.
Which is this plastic tube that lives inside the grip in here. And this is kind of what you get when you buy older machines. I test rode it, it rode good right now. But the throttle tube broke, and the throttle tube actuates the throttle. It's actually connects the throttle. You can see it's broke here. This should be a solid plastic piece. It's broke off inside the handle. So what we're gonna try to do to salvage the day is zip tie the shit out of this. And hopefully we can still learn a little bit about dirt bike riding today. But if not, I mean, this is kind of how things go on Candy Adventures. You know, just a hot pile of mess. And what sucks here is that we're in Guam, so a lot of times parts take a long time to come here, or a lot of companies don't mail here, and then the dealerships here don't carry a lot, and when they do, it's like 3 or 4 times the price. So hopefully we can salvage today and get some parts on order. So let me run to the truck real quick and see if I can grab some zip ties. So currently where we're off-roading is a little, you can't get a truck in here unless you got a, you know, lockers, big off-road rig. Our little 2-wheel drive F-150 is not getting in here. So I got to run back to the truck to get parts. And it makes me remember last year I did a marathon with no training in like 90-degree heat with less than a month of practice of running. And I'd been thinking, Chris, for your birthday, you should do 36 miles for your 36th birthday with no training. And this this 400 or 500 meter run here is just smacked me in the face. Chris, you're not gonna do a 36-mile run this year. So got our zip ties. Let's go ahead and get this fixed, maybe. Great. All right, so yeah, even the zip ties are breaking. So that's just kind of how things roll here. Everything falling apart, trying to get your life on track. Your own hairs in your mouth.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
And your zip ties are breaking, trying to fix the thing that's breaking.
This is serious. I know. This really is the world's smallest violin. See?
All right, so take 2. Let's go ahead and fire it up again and be easy on this throttle and see if we can get going again. Let's go ahead and push the Kickstarter back in. All right, she got it started. So we'll go ahead and put the comment up here from last week that said girls can't have a dirt bike because they can't get it kick-started. Not only did she kick-start it, but she kick-started it so hard she broke the throttle tube. So just giving that comment a nice little shout out. All right, let's see what we can do in first gear. We have forward momentum. So for now, we're just going to practice modulating the clutch in first gear and getting used to the clutch. Once you get the clutch down, everything else is a lot easier. But most people grow up driving automatic cars, and even new four-wheelers and stuff are all CVT transmissions. So once you get that clutch down, dude, it's a good translation. It's to manual transmissions for cars, manual transmissions for almost, you know, motorcycles, ATVs, anything. So once she learns this, she'll be good to go for a manual on almost anything. You have to think about a motorcycle like it's an animal. You have to have mechanical sympathy. So you hear it straining under that load, it means it needs more gas.
More gas?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear it like it's lurch, oh, like
yeah.
It's wanting to die. It's like a person. You have to think about a motorcycle like it's alive. Pretty neat place to be riding. I was gonna say because the Pacific's Ocean down there, but as you can see, that's why we're working on clutch control up here on a kind of a level area with nobody around. Because when you panic, you'll end up doing this.
I pulled the clutch in though. It just kept going forward.
So that'll be lesson number 2. You pull the clutch in, you will keep going forward unless you use the brakes. So now we're going to incorporate some brakes in with our clutch pulling. But good, because we didn't have a whoopsie wheelie. We didn't, you know, loop it out somewhere off some cliff. So 2 thumbs up on the clutch control. Now we're just going to add in some brakes and we're almost there. All right, so she's getting a little more comfortable on this. A fun excuse that I get to use, and it's actually a necessity, is that on these little 2-stroke dirt bikes, they're meant for motocross racing. They're meant to ride hard and they're meant to be in the power band all the time. And so when you mix fuel on these 2-stroke bikes, you're mixing it at 32:1, which is what this bike would require at maximum RPM. So when you lug it around in these really low RPMs like this, you're gonna build up some excess oil on the spark plug, and eventually you'll foul your plugs. And the bike will start running kind of crappy and then you'll foul a plug. So the fun excuse I get to use to ride the bike is I need to hit the power valve a little bit and run it on the pipe a little bit to clean that spark plug back up so she can keep puttering around. It's a fun excuse, it's a win-win for everybody. I'm gonna go ride this kid's dirt bike for a minute.
So, I love Chris to pieces, soulmate level, he's amazing, but being together with him is frustrating because he flies and makes everything look so easy, and this applies to like when we've water skied, this dirt bike, literally everything. Chris always makes it look so easy, and then when I try, it's just, you know, struggle busing, I'm clumsy, and I see him doing this, and it just looks so cool and fluid, and he's flying, and I want to do that. So, I don't know, it's like having a partner that you aspire to be them. I aspire to be Chris. When I told Chris I wanted to ride motorcycles and stuff, there was a lot of emphasis from the both of us wanting for me to start on a dirt bike versus a full motorcycle, like a street motorcycle. And one of the reasons is because this is lighter, and it's okay if you tip it over, because it's easy for me as a smaller female that's not extremely buff to pick it back up. Whereas like a full-size street bike is really, really heavy, and there's like specific ways that women or like smaller men have to leverage their body to pick up the full weight. Whereas if this tipped over on the ground, I would be able to pick it up by myself.
Yeah, a fully loaded street bike with fuel and even a lightweight sport bike or something is going to weigh in excess of 400 pounds by the time you get a battery and fuel and oil in it. Whereas this bike, fully fueled up and ready to go, is, you know, probably less than $150. A lot less to get out of the way, lower seat height, lower weight, easy to handle.
And I'm not gonna cry if this thing hits the dirt and ruins the paint.
Yeah, and a lot less probability of a fatality. If you freak out as you're going through a red light or in a parking lot somewhere, you're not hitting asphalt, you're hitting this beautiful soft, well, semi-soft red dirt here. And just a lot lower chance of getting really injured or hurting the bike. So I would highly recommend starting out on a dirt bike. That's what I started out on. And once you get the principles of gas, brake, throttle, some basic maintenance items, then you can kind of go to the pavement. I think jumping straight to pavement is a mistake, and I've known 2 or 3 close friends that jumped straight to pavement, and it was a really bad mistake, and they had really bad wrecks within the first, week of buying the motorcycle. So
yeah, I definitely am not interested in going to the motorcycle level until I feel completely confident on a dirt bike, and that's just me personally. So I'm happy that we started out on a dirt bike, even if it's not the most ideal one to start out on. Just as perspective for females that are interested in this stuff, like, I don't know, I think it's good to talk about.
Okay, so what Elizabeth's gonna do here is try her first hill. And we have a hill here, and she's gonna see if she can go down it and come back up it in first gear, and just get a little confidence up. And going downhill, you can let the clutch out. All right, we got the little ring dinger going back up. So that is a Whoopsie Wheelie. That is where you hit the power band going up the hill and don't mean to, but everybody's okay. Yeah. But that's our first Whoopsie Wheelie for the day on the two-stroke.
Well, just like I killed that bike and kind of myself, this monitor is also dead. I'm not responsible for running it over, but that's kind of sad.
All right, take 2 here. Coming up the hill on Calamansi, which is this dirt bike's new name. Mixes Kawasaki and Calamansi, the fruit. And she's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. Stay in it. Stay in it. Oh! We made it. And then we looped out. Okay, she seems fine. And we've had what we call a, what do we name it? Whoopsie Wheelie. A Whoopsie Wheelie.
Number 2.
Attempt number 3 of this pretty gnarly little mud dirt hill. Staying in the power. Finger covering up the clutch. Woo! And we made it. All the way to the top. Woohoo! We made it. All right, so I think that was a successful day. Didn't break anything. You know, riding dirt bikes, we stripped a couple of bolts out here on the rear fender that, you know, a zip tie will fix. Zip ties have already fixed the grip, which we need to order a new one. One of the 2 of us bent the handlebars, so we'll have to order some of those. But all in all, not a bad day. No serious problems that I wouldn't expect to have on your first day learning how to ride a motorcycle. You're going to break levers, you're going to bend handlebars, you're going to break plastics. Like, it's just, you're going to do it.
So it wasn't terrible?
No.
Okay.
So we're sweaty, the sun's starting to go down, but all in all, that was a successful first day learning how to ride a motorcycle. I guess we'll have a congratulations on learning how to ride a motorcycle beer.
I forgot we brought beer.
Yeah, we got 1 beer apiece, some really nice stuff, top shelf Miller Lite, and we'll enjoy that and watch the sunset, load these dirt bikes back up and get back to the house. And maybe next video will be spearfishing, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe more adventures on the dirt bike, but we're trying to go back and forth on the dirt bike stuff and the spearfishing and trolling and ocean camping and that kind of stuff. So next video, we'll see you guys in the water.
Woohoo!